Okay, we will start the second sessions of this day. Welcome back to the participants. I hope you are energized and enjoy the foods that we gave to you. And then we will move to the second sessions. The second sessions will be given by Professor Ki Hiryu from Seoul National University with the topic about irrigations and climate change. And he is joining us via Zoom meeting. And these sessions will be led by our moderator, Dr. Muhammad Hairuzaki. He is the PhD in Agricultural and Environmental Engineering from Givi University, Japan. And I will briefly introduce our moderator by reading his curriculum vitae. Mr. Muhammad Hairuzaki, PhD, is a assistant professor at the Faculty of Agricultural Engineering Technology in Gajah Mada University. He is now a research fellow in Kurita Foundations and JSPS Research Fellow for DC in Kakenhi JSPS Japan. He public a lot of research and publications, as you can see in the screen, one of which is adaptations to extreme hydrological events by Javanese society through local knowledge. And another one is effect of organic amendments on maize cultivations under agricultural drought conditions in Central Java, Indonesia. So without further ado, let's welcome our moderator for today, Mr. Muhammad Hoirul Zaki, PhD. Pak, Pak Zaki, time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for Master of Ceremony. Good morning, everyone. Uh, Welcome to Summer Course Faculty of Agricultural Engineering 2024, Universitas Gajah Mada. My name is Dr. Zaki, and I will be moderating for this session, Irrigation and Climate Change session, which is presented by Prof. Ki Heryu from Seoul National University. Before we start, I will read the curriculum vitae of Prof. Ryu. Dr. Ki Heryu is a professor or principal researcher from Institute of Green Bioscience and Technology, Seoul National University, with the focus global partnership in innovative technologies in the green bioscience and technology sector. Since 2013 up to now, Prof. Ryu has worked in biotechnology development in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, including Kenya, South Africa, Uganda, Indonesia, Mongolia, Philippines, Vietnam, Ecuador, Uruguay, and then before joining the university, he worked as head portfolio management unit of Environment, Natural Resources, and Agriculture Division, Southeast Asia Department in Asian Development Bank (ADB), Manila, Philippines, from 1997 to 2013, up to 16 years. And as head of Agriculture and Irrigation Unit, Mekong River, maybe from Philippines or Thailand, now about the Mekong River. Uh, and then from 1993 to 1997 for 4 years. Prof. Ryu received his PhD degree in agricultural engineering from Colorado State University, United States, and MSc and BS in agricultural engineering, Seoul National University, South Korea. He worked in a field office in South Asia, including ADB Bangladesh and Nepal Resident Mission. All of his professional career of 40 years, Dr. Ryu has involved in project programming, including development policy and strategy, project identification and processing, project implementation and impact evaluation in the water resources, irrigation and drainage, disaster risk management for drought, floods, and tsunami, rural development, and natural resources management area. That is the curriculum vitae from Prof. Ryu. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes. For the first, in this session, we will have 70 minutes for a presentation by Prof. Ryu, and then 35 minutes for discussion. So the total up to 105 minutes. After presentation, there will be 4 or 5 questions from the participants. We have Zoom participants and on-set participant. If you have any question for a professor, please raise your hand or virtual hand for a Zoom participants and turn on your microphone when I call you to ask. Or you can also use chat feature in this session to ask your question. Then I will read your question and uh, I will read your question. Now let please welcome to our lecturer, Professor Dr. Ki Heryu. Time is yours. Prof. Ryu, sorry, you still unmute your microphone.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jackie. I want to know that my voice is
Yes,
loud. Mm.
yes, good, Prof.
Thank you. I'm very happy to have a presentation to the OKM. Based on my experience in the international organizations, I'm very happy to have good discussions and presentation and discussion with the young fellows in Gajah University and also the virtual participation from all over the world. My area is basically water resources management. Uh, my major is the irrigation and water resource management, including irrigation, drainage, floods control, and also tsunami and disaster management in Asia and Pacific regions. But mostly I spend my time to focus on Indonesian the water management. So I started my assignment in Sumatra Utara, Medan, for irrigation project in 1983. So up to now, so basically I covered from Sumatra and Java, Sulawesi, and Ambon. So I'm very happy to discuss about the irrigation management in Indonesia with all young and future leaders of the in this area. The first one, I want to start with my presentation on the global scale. So let me share the Dr. Jackie. So I want to have sharing my presentation.
Yes, Prof, please.
Would you allow me?
Yes, okay, um, from Prof. Ryu. From Prof. Ryu, okay. Please from you, Prof.
It's not activate to share the
Okay. Okay, Prof, please. You can share your presentation now.
yes. Basically,
Yes, we can see, Prof.
yeah.
Yes, clear, Prof.
My presentation will cover from the global perspective of the water management. So today, the chapter one, I will introduce the global trend of irrigation in the climate changing aspect. Second, then what is the effort of the Indonesian government for irrigation management up to now? Then the third one, I will suggest for sustainable irrigation modernization in Indonesia. Then finally, I will conclude my presentation. Uh, base, Basically from the the end of the Second World War, 1945, the international and the global leaders, they suggest to rehabilitate the damaged infrastructure in the world after the Second World War. And also, the world leaders, they suggest to increase the food production to provide commodity for the peoples. So from 1960s, especially 70, basically all the leaders in the world, they suggest to have a promotion on agricultural development to improve agricultural productivities to provide the food. Then Indonesia, 1980s, that times the Indonesian government achieved rice self-sufficiency in 1984. And basically 1960s and 70s, the global development partners, including World Bank, ADB, and other agencies, they are mainly focused on the investment on irrigation. Huge $1 billion invested to construct the irrigation infrastructure. That time, basically, they focused on the government aid and supply-based irrigation development. But when we discuss about year 2000, the world leaders, they agreed to focus on Millennium Development Goals. At the time, we had 8 targets, but the main focus was the number 1, how to alleviate poverty, especially extreme poverty. That was the main focus. From 2000 to 2015, during the 15 years, mainly focused how to reduce extreme poverty to half of the 1990s level. So during this MDG, Millennium Development Goals effort, year 2015, basically extreme poverty was halved, reduced to only just 1990s level. So then year 2015, world leaders, they agreed to establish SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. I think that all the participants, you are nowadays familiar with these 17 goals. So major contribution to reduce the poverty in MDG was the half of the extreme poverties. But in the SDG, they agreed from 2016 to 2030, 15 years period, they focused number 1, extreme poverty will be alleviated. So remove extreme poverty. Then the SDG 2 was the zero hunger. Basically, they want to reduce the hunger peoples in the world. When we're talking about the irrigation, it is related to SDG 6, clean water and the source sanitation. This one including also irrigation in the SDG. So today, we can review SDG 1, SDG 2, and SDG 6. Of course, some other SDG goals have also relationship to the irrigation management, including the environment or partnership. So SDG 17 is a partnership for the SDG goals. They are also related to irrigation activities. So we can go SDG 1 and SDG 2 and SDG 6 to relate to the irrigation activities. Let's see SDG 1, low poverty. Basically, SDG 1 also have 5 targets and 2 activities. So SDG 1 main target is to eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere in the world, living on less than $1.25 per day. This is actually, it was the SDG initiated in Rio in 2012 that when they have the Rio Plus Plus after 20 years of the Rio Declaration in 1992, they have this suggestion for SDG goals. But at that time also, they insist to alleviate extreme poverty in the world. SDG 1 also have the reduced at least by half the proportion of the gender, men and women, and also children are of all ages living in poverty. So basically, related to the poverty has to be reduced in half in segregated portion of the men, women. That's a gender issue, and also children. Then to reduce the poverty, basically, third target is to implement social protection systems and measures in each countries. Number 4 is all the poor have an equal right to basic services and ownership over the land, including microfinance, especially land access for women was prohibited in many countries. It was basically they need to be protected equal right to the basic services. And the fifth, reduce the vulnerability to climate-related disaster and economic, social, and environmental shock. That means basically the water and climate-related disaster, including drought and flood. Especially vulnerable peoples, they need to be protected. Those one is the SDG 1. And at present, the present status of in 2023, basically it is very difficult to achieve SDG 1 target. You can see here about the 575 million people will be remain in the extreme poverty by 2030s. So that's why social protection program and this one should be include about 6 times of the present investment. This is the basically target for SDG 1. For the SDG 2, zero hunger, I think it is very serious in Indonesia also, zero hunger. SDG 2 target also have the 5 targets. Number 1, to end hunger and ensure access by all people to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food all around the year in every place. In that this food security issue also need to end all form of the malnutrition. Especially this is a very serious issue in African countries. Third one is the double the agricultural productivity and incomes of the small-scale food producers. This one is also related to irrigation. So we need to double the agricultural productivity. Double means productivity is very low. If we have the rice production of the 2.5 tons per hectare in Kalimantan, you need to double. That means 5 tons per hectare of the paddy. It's very challenging targets. It's also almost impossible at this moment. Number 4 target is the ensure the sustainable food production system and implement resilient agriculture practices for adaptation to climate-related disaster. Especially this one related to the drought because of the climate change and improved land and soil quality. When I have the Nusantara in East Kalimantan, we need to improve the present the rice production productivity in East Kalimantan. Not only East Kalimantan, so the Kalimantan Tengah and the South Kalimantan also including the whole area. They have to improve the land and soil quality and fertility to produce more food. That is related to the Indonesian situation now. Number 5 is we need to maintain the genetic diversity of seeds and cultivate plants and farms and domesticated animals. That means to improve the food security, we need to improve the seeds and also vegetables and fruits and livestock. So nowadays, this is the very challenging target to improve the agriculture productivities. And also this SDG 2 has the 3 target A, B, C. So 2023 at present, the according to the data, the United Nations, they announced about the 600 million people we still face the food hunger in 2030, the end of this SDG target. So SDG 1 and SDG 2 has almost the same numbers, about 600 million people. They will not be escaped from the extreme poverty or from the food security issues. Out of the 8 billion global populations, this is a big challenge. So they suggest to improve this SDG2 target, they have to triple investment on the hunger projects. Irrigation related to the SDG 6. Basically, SDG 6 also has six targets. Number one is the drinking water. Basically, SDG 6 suggests safe and affordable drinking water supply for all the people in the world. SDG 6 also have second target on related to sanitation and hygiene. Especially the SDG 6.2 want to end open defecations. So still many least developing country has the exercise of open defecation without a toilet. So I think that to remove the open defecations, the major efforts in India and China, they want to improve and also construct the toilet and public toilet. So it has been improving now, but still huge challenging targets. The third one is the water pollution. So to improve the water quality by reducing pollution and sustainably increasing recycling of the wastewater and save the reused water resources in the global area. So water pollution related to SDG 6.3. For the irrigation is the 6.4, increased water use efficiency to address water scarcity. Because irrigation used 80% of the water resources, even in Indonesia. So especially agriculture aspect, how to improve the irrigation water efficiency is a huge challenge. So by rehabilitating and also newly constructing, developing irrigation infrastructure is the one way, but we are going to discuss more detail how to improve the irrigation efficiency. That will go to the irrigation modernization. And the 6.5 is the IWRM to implement the integrated water resource management and transboundary cooperation. Because many countries, they have a serious problem of the collaboration and coordination on water use. Especially in Indonesia, Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Public Works has two different approach. Ministry of Water Resources is more focused on the supply-based water management, but the Ministry of Agriculture, they are more focused on the farmer-oriented and demand-based water management they want to. So this is the IWRM. In within the watershed, they need coordination. But not only just the within the country, between neighboring country, they need to coordinate on the transboundary water use operation. This is the 6.5 target. And 6.6, and basically protecting water-related ecosystem and the swamp and the lowland development is related to the 6.6. So we can explain some more detail about the 6.3 target, but we want to share some achievement up to now. And certainly safely managed drinking water has been increased from 2015, 70% to now 73%. Every year they can increase only 1%. But still 2.2 billion people, they don't have the safely managed drinking water services in the world. And also that is very clear. Women and girls are responsible for the water collection in 80% of the household without access to water in their own house. This is the present situations. For the sanitation issue, so safely managed sanitation, the population has been increased from 50% of the 2015 to 57. This one also sanitation, every year they increase 1%. The population of the basic hygiene services increased from 67 to 75%. This is because of the COVID pandemic situation in 2018 to 2021. Therefore, 3.5 billion people, they are still lack safely managed sanitation without the toilet in their own house. For the SDG 6.2 target to alleviate objectification by providing the toilet, still around 900 million people, they are continuing to practice the objectification in the field. And the 2.2 billion people lacks basic hand washing facilities. Even we have the COVID pandemic in the past, still they have 2.2 billion people, they don't have hand washing facilities. For the water pollution, the 6.4, still 6.3 target, they have a still good condition in the water ecosystems in 2023. This one is basically the UN, the official position. But the 6.4, water use efficiency rose from $17 per ton in 2015 to $21 per ton in 2021. Still, every year, the efficiency indicator is increasing every year. And the water stress level increased 60% in 2015 to 90% in 2021. And also there is some progress on the integrated water resource management, IWRM, and officially 2017 they have only 50%, but now 57% according to the official data. Then for the activity, water-related overseas development assistance, ODA, in water sector has been increased about 10%. So now every year, $8.5 billion are invested. But to achieve the SDG 6 target, officially the United Nations announced our investment should be doubled to achieve the SDG 6 targets. So now it is time to summarize the effort of the irrigation modernization in Indonesia. The World Bank and the Indonesian government prepared the Indonesia for Vision 2045 to improve irrigation water efficiency. At present, Indonesia is the third highest paddy yield among the rice producers in the world. But 80% of the water used for irrigation. Then 46% of the irrigation system is classified as in poor condition. And 35% of the rice production in river basin experiencing the water stress in Indonesia, especially in Java Islands. Only 12% of the irrigation is supplied from dams, reserve. Other one is basically the well and the diversion well. Yeah. Then financially, 70% of the total subsidies are allocated to non-cost effective fertilizers in agriculture. This is the present situation in Indonesia. Therefore, there is a threat and the challenges. The agriculture sector is a major water use, contribute to 12% of the GDP to national economics. But 22 million smallholders, small landing holding size of the 0.6 hectare contributes the 60% of the agricultural value addition. That means agriculture production is basically from smallholders. The irrigation sector uses the 31% of the land, farmland, and also 80% of the water resources for irrigation. And Indonesia is facing the rapid economic growth and urbanization. It's a continuously people are moving in to the urban area. Compared to the urban incomes, farm and the rural incomes far behind other sector incomes. Therefore, farmers face increased constraint of the water and labor and the land. Naturally, irrigation sector is under pressure to introduce the irrigation modernizations. As a conclusion, the food security in Indonesia faced rice import and nutrition quality. So last year, I understand that 3.5 million tons of rice were imported. In the Vision 2045, clearly mentioned that Indonesia has the irrigation system for 7.4 million hectares. But out of the 7.1 million hectares, central government managed 2.4 million hectares, about the 33%. Then provincial level means the provincial and the district, they have 1.4, 1.1 million hectares and 3.6 million hectares in the small schemes. So district level, district governments, they have the 51% of the total irrigation systems they are controlling. From this irrigation system, they produce the rice production, and the Java has about the 3% and 5%, 4%, 8%, 5%, total about the 25% of the rice production of the Indonesia came from Java Island. And also Sumatra and the Borneo, Kalimantan, and also Sulawesi. Then the water stress and the rice production in river basin has the severe water stress in the 13% of the paddy. And they have the severe stress and high stress and medium stress and the no stress. Basically, no stress is the main irrigation systems, but they produce the total paddy of the 39% area, and the production of the 33% of the rice come from this area. If you see the yellow lines, Indonesia has the about 5 tons per hectares. And the highest one production is compared to the Indonesian one, the China produced about the 7 tons. So Indonesian Ministry of Agriculture, they very much focus on to increase the agriculture paddy productivity to reach 10 ton per hectares. And basically the irrigation modernization is required. From the 1960s and 70s, Indonesian government have a heavy investment to improve and construct the irrigation infrastructures. But it has been already more than 50 years. So all the irrigation infrastructure is deteriorating now. So not only just Indonesia, so every rice producing countries in East Asia, including the Southeast Asia, has initiated the irrigation modernization project. So, according to the FAO, irrigation modernization is defined a process of the technical and managerial upgrading of the irrigation system. Especially, it is combined with institutional reforms to improve the irrigation and land use resources utilization and improving the irrigation water delivery service. However, irrigation modernization facing obstacles in the technical gaps and also financial, social, and institutional constraint. Therefore, irrigation modernization need to modern hardware and software techniques, but the fundamental transformation of the water resource management using management aspect. So this transformation can include changing rules and institutional structure related to water rights, water delivery service, and accountability mechanism and incentive. In addition to the infrastructure improvements. Indonesia has the globally well-known Balik's Subak system that has the excellent institutional management system and also social aspects. And legal, institutional, and the social aspect has the excellent water management system in Bali. So therefore, Indonesia has the irrigation reforms since 1969 up to now. So 1974, Indonesian government has the Water Law 11, Law number 11 on water. Then 1987 up to 1998, the efficient operation and maintenance were introduced, so-called EOM. So 1986, policy statement irrigation O&M was introduced. From 1999 to 2015, the Indonesia government introduced the Participatory Irrigation Development and Management, PIM. So it is come from the year 1999 Law on Decentralization and the Regional Autonomy. Since then, there are several legal reforms. Presidential Instruction Number 3 on water resources and several reform activity were introduced. But year 2016 up to now, the government introduced irrigation modernizations. So year 2016 introduced the irrigation modernization agenda and 2019's new law on water resources. During this time, up to now, there are several policy reform initiatives made by led by Papenas and also Ministry of Water Resources and Public Work and also Ministry of Agriculture. So irrigation modernization has the challenges in 6 aspects. Number one is the commercializing the agriculture sector. Second, increase the water security for local food security. Third one, enhance the organization and the funding for O&M. The challenge also including increasing the efficiency and effectiveness of the irrigation, rehabilitation of the deteriorated peatland areas, then reducing the pollution from the agricultural chemicals like fertilizer, insecticide, and chemicals. So basically, this challenge was included in the Vision 2045. The first one is the commercializing the agriculture sector. The Vision 2045 emphasized to intensify climate-smart agriculture practice to adapt climate change. Then shift water efficient and higher income generating agriculture practices to increase the rural incomes. Then clarify the institutional responsibility for water user farmers association. This one is a part of the single irrigation management. Public policy, they are preparing these policy reforms here. Secondly, increasing water security for local food security means to protect the highly productive agricultural land in special plans to minimize the negative impact of the urbanization. Then also including the location-specific strategy for mass production of the staple food. So basically, this one is the emphasized in the southern Sumatra and also Lampung provinces. Then concentrate the fruit and vegetables in horticulture zone near urban area to supply the fresh vegetables and horticulture fruits to the urban area. That was a regional approach and developed a community subsistence food security zone in remote area. Like in East Kalimantan, they need to develop the agriculture production zones for the food security in the new capital. And third one is the enhancing the organization of the funding of the O&M. This is the very important for irrigation modernizations. To introduce financial, institutional, and physical intervention for operation and maintenance. This is the most important aspect for the irrigation modernization. Because most of the public works officials, they are very much give the priority on the new development. But the O&M is very important. Yeah. Second one is a fully financed on the sustainable basis with the sharing of the financial burden with users, farmers, farmer groups, production groups, yeah. And create accountability of the irrigation service because this represents the the irrigation system was based on the supply-based management. So they don't care about they have a lack of the caring of the consumer and the demanding side. So collecting the revenue for O&M and increase the water users and farmer associations and the stakeholder participation. It is the most critical aspect to reform for the irrigation modernization. As the Vision 2045 indicate, increasing the efficiency and the effectiveness of irrigation to develop least cost and the maximum value irrigation service model need to be developed in Indonesia. And the stakeholder cooperation between Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Public and Settlement, and also Farmers Association, Auto Users and Farmer Association. And the Vision 2045 insists to prepare the investment plan for outcome basis rather than output basis. Only just how many kilometers of the canals, how many, that's not our goals. Basically improving the outcomes, how to improve the agriculture productivity and also increase the farmers' incomes. Investment based on the economic analysis and the optimized in Beijing framework. This is suggested by the Vision 2045. Strengthen the water measurements to provide the detailed information on water availability, use, and demands. This one required water measuring devices and structure, plus information and communication technology, ICT technologies. To finalize the system of irrigation water entitlement, finally, scale up the participatory irrigation commission and the water resources boards. This one for especially the local government level, provincial and the district level. Number 5 is the rehabilitating the degraded peatland area, especially Kalimantan. Yeah. Ensure that integrated land and water management in a peat hydraulic unit. Expand the provincial landscape planning in the green growth program. And also suggest land recovery program in the swamp area. Consider economic, social, and environmental aspects. So Vision 2045 to reduce the pollution from the agriculture chemicals. So this is suggested to develop the smart fertilizer subsidy program, enforce the restriction and the prohibitions on harmful pesticide, insecticide, and herbicide. And also the Vision 2045 suggests to provide the capacity building training for farmers on the right application of the agriculture input and organic farming techniques. And also to extend the Ministry of Agriculture program of distributing organic fertilizer processing unit to farmer groups. And suggest to control the pollutant residues of the farm product in pollution hotspots. This one is the suggestion especially for the agricultural chemical management here. Here, I want to suggest that Then how to make the sustainable irrigation modernizations? In year 2016, the government provided the irrigation modernization guidelines. There is a 5 pillars. The first one, to improve the water security and availability, to check the water balance. Second, rehabilitate the infrastructure. This is the major investment in irrigation sector. But improve the irrigation management system, especially here we need to link supplier and demand, and also strengthening the water management institution of the farmers group, water users farmers association. Then strengthen the human resource capacity, not only just the public officials, but require the farm leaders. So in this opportunity, I suggest to improve the cropping intensity for food security and also introduce the climate smart irrigation practices using ICT technology for water supply and demand management. And Indonesia is required pilot demonstration for gradual expansion of the efficient operation and maintenance and the strengthen the water users farmers associations. So, for example, I'm introducing this aspect in Cibalung in Banten province. Basically, according to the analysis of the water availability, so at the end of the dry season, from October up to May, there is the water. As a present, the cropping intensity is only just 113%, only just 100 plus 13%. So it requires to increase at least 200%. One crop for the wet season and one crop for dry season. How to make this one? If you have this one, in Indonesia, you have the average, the cropping intensity is now 143%. You have the harvest area about 10 million hectares from paddy, 7.4 million hectares. So you produce 54 million tons. Your average yield is 5 tons per hectare. But when you have from the paddy to rice, you have a conversion ratio of the 57%. Then you produce 31 million tons of rice. So according to the Bureau of the Statistics, your consumption of the rice is only just 28 million tons or 270 million people. So it should have some enough rice, 3 million tons. But at present, your situation is you need to import the rice. Therefore, if you increase the cropping intensity 200%, you can have 18 million tons for the year 2030. You are expecting the 320 million people. So you have enough food, enough rice in year 2030. So basically, how to improve this cropping intensity? This is our suggestion. So irrigation modernization, so you can have the ICT technology to supply from the where up to the, the demonstration area. So basically, in China and China and also Japan and Korea, we have the greenhouse paddy nursery. I think that this one is required to introduce in Indonesia, but we suggest to have a pilot demonstration first, how to introduce a low-cost greenhouse for paddy nursery. And also, this one, not only just the increasing the agricultural productivity, the post-harvesting technology needs to be introduced. And Indonesia has the weak the water use farmers association. In the fields, based on the consultation with the farmers and the district leaders, they need to strengthen the water use farmers associations. So my suggestion is to activate water use farmers association under the collaboration of the two ministry and the local government. And also basically they improved the communication between water suppliers from the public work and the water use farmers with a possibly for financial incentive on the O&M or sustainable organizations. As single management irrigation policy initiative was prepared, needed to accelerate SMI implementations. In conclusion, for better food security and increased farmers' incomes in Indonesia, irrigation service delivery in climate change requires not only sustainable irrigation management for increasing water use efficiency, but also transforming the irrigated agriculture practice with strengthened and capacity of the water use of farmers associations. So I suggest several things, but I will be very happy to discuss with you in Q&A session. Thank you very much. Dr. Jackie.
Thank you very much, Prof. Rio. Please give applause to Prof. Rio. Okay, guys. Now we start discussion session. Is there any question? Yes, please. From Abu, Pakistan, Prof.
My name is Abu Huraira and I'm from Pakistan. So, first of all, I would like to ask that there was one line mentioned develop community substance food security zones in urban areas. So, I want to ask, like, what is the actual reason behind doing this? And second question is that in terms of least cost and maximum value irrigation service model, what are the top three practices that you personally you would suggest? So these two are my main questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abu. Please, Prof, you can answer directly.
Thank you, um, Abu. Basically, that I have been improved the irrigation modernization in Pakistan also uh, from the quarterly barrage in the Sindh provinces and Punjab. And basically, the Vision for 2045, it was prepared by the World Bank and also Papenas together. So basically suggest that in near urban, basically they need to focus on to provide the urban areas the vegetable consumption. So at present, there is no clear demarcation on this one. So from the very remote area, they produce the vegetable and they supply to the urban area. I think that this is not good practices at present. So the Vision 45 suggested the near urban area, especially the each city around the city, they need to provide a special zone to supply vegetable and fruits to supply the vegetable and fruits and to the urban residents. This is the suggested by the Papenas and the World Bank. So I also support that one. So Abu, you know the price of the vegetable and also fruits in Indonesia is very high. I think that how to reduce to that. So they need more um, large commercial the vegetable and the fruit the productions. Um, Second question. Abu, would you repeat the second question again?
Okay, so in terms of least cost and maximum value irrigation services model, what
Mm.
are the top three practices or models that you would suggest?
Basically, at present, the Ministry of Public Work, they have several about the 9 major river basin areas. So they are producing the irrigation modernization programs, especially uh, using the ICT. But basically, it has a different um, uh, approach. So how to reduce this modernization? So in that sense, so game I has a very good um, the their game has the one pilot cases in the the Central Java. I think that is much good models in compared to the other one. But I believe that the best water management model is the SUBAC system. But in Java and Sumatra, they have a different approach, and especially that in southern Sumatra, Lampung, they have a huge irrigation system, but they need a huge investment. So it is a burden to Indonesian government how to minimize the least models. So when we have the monitoring and the measuring the water delivery, I think that how to minimize. So, for example, that if you provide the sensors, measuring sensors in the wear and the turnout and the key points, how to minimize this one. This one is also modern, but not only just this ICT devices, most of the public work officials, they are very much concerned about the vandalism on the advanced device. How to protect this one? That one also tactical questions. How to install this device to have the sustainable irrigation modernization programs. So, Abu, do you have a more the do you need more clarification on this one?
Well, one thing I'm confused about the name you said, like the best one that you suggest before you mentioned about the practices
Mhm.
in Sumatra and Java. So can you repeat that?
No, the best one is the Subak system in Bali.
Okay.
Subak. Basically, why the Bali, their system is from their culture. So all the farmers, they participate. But still, Sumatra and Java, the government's the scheme is still the government lead management system. But the Subak system in Bali is the farmers lead, users lead for irrigation management system. So to clarify that one, this the modernization model need to have a strong farmers participation. That's why the participatory irrigation management approach. So Bali system is I personally believe that this is the best system. And but at present, the government, they are implementing and several large major modernization programs in Sumatra and Java, but they need to develop how to minimize the investment to improve the irrigation efficiency. Abu,
Okay, yeah, I got my answer. Thank you so much, Dr. K.
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Ryu. Is there any question from the participant in this room or from Zoom? Yes, please, Mr. Qasim from Yemen.
Asim Suleimani.
Please.
Right.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much, Prof, for your interesting topic. I am Mujib from Yemen. I have simple questions. As you know, technology is becoming increasingly prevalent in this time. Do you think technology can be used to promote sustainable irrigation practices?
Yeah, Kosin, because in the past, so irrigation system design was the supply-based irrigation system with a heavy involvement of the suppliers, the gatekeeper, and also dam operators, and also the communication systems. But so that was for the when we constructed the new irrigation system, yes, it should be initiated. But nowadays, after 50 years from the construction period, now it is time for rehabilitation of the and upgrading the irrigation system. Need more identify the demand from the users. What is their problem? What is their shortage of the water supply? So in that aspect, we need to have a communication programs. So that's why ICT model is useful. But when we have this ICT model, they need very much on the sensor related to the measuring the device. So protecting that one is the difficult, and also the public work investment required the protection of the device. But in the remote area in Pakistan and even other area, the protection of the device is also very concern from the public aspect because they invested. So minimizing the sensor and the metering device is the required to use the ICT technology in Indonesia. That is my aspect.
Okay, Prof, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Is there any question from the participants from Zoom? Okay, please introduce your name.
Okay, thank you for the time. Uh, in sake of SDGs about increased water use efficiency to address water scarcity, right? Uh, I'm so curious about seawater. And what do you think if we use seawater to solve the water scarcity, especially in agriculture?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, from which country?
From what's your name?
I'm Halim from Indonesia.
Oh, Indonesia, yes. Um, Basically that I think the Middle East Asian countries, they need to create the water resources for irrigation. So major subject is uh, how to make this from the seawater the, to the irrigation water. It's very expensive. So even Korea, we have the problem of the drinking water shortage. So from the seawater, desalination plant is installed, and they mixed with the fresh water. But still, the people, they don't like to have that kinds of uh, water quality for their own drinking water. So, but for the drinking water, it's very difficult. But in irrigation water, it's very um, it's possible, but very difficult to using any the desalination plant. But for low water, low-end development, Indonesian government focusing on the 1 million on the half million hectares to develop from the lowland and swamp. I think that is one way to develop the irrigation water resources in Indonesia. But we need to have the pilot scheme first. So I was involved in the Kalimantan Banjarmasin for swamp irrigation schemes. So there is without using the desalination plant, basically using the swamp irrigation tank in the irrigation scheme. So that is possible. And also how basically this is not the full irrigation system. Basically, this is a supplementary irrigation system in during the critical period of the plant in the swamp area for the dry season. So these kinds of uh, the lowland and the swamp irrigation scheme need to be developed, but it needs to be clear monitoring of the water quality and especially salinity I think that's why the UGM and the university to be involved to monitoring the water quality. That's not only just the saline area, but this one also needs to for pit soil in Kalimantan required to improve the productivity.
How about
So,
that? Okay, Prof. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there any questions? No. And I would like to ask to Prof. Ryu. UGM is a part of the teams to arrange the evaluation of modernization irrigation in Indonesia now, and I'm a part of that. And we would like to ask to Prof. Ryu, in your slides, suggestion for sustainable irrigation modernization, there are 5 points, and I would like to know about the local culture or local knowledge can be included in those points, such as
yeah.
subaks or anything, because we know that uh, if we would like to change the mindset of the water user from blank paper to mobile apps to report the irrigation, is it too hard? So how you can handle this problem, Prof?
Yeah, Dr. Zaki, yeah. So basically, the present evaluation system has only just evaluate only 5 pillars. But this is the very much the BU aspect. I think the Korea and Japan, China, basically irrigation is handled by the Minister of Agriculture rather than Minister of Public Works. So the irrigation modernization needs very strong social logical aspect. Of course, Bali, they have a Hindu culture and they have a very strict local culture to stick on their own decisions. But in Java and Sumatra, it is almost impossible to have the farmer water users association in irrigation management. So even you have a very good system without the local peoples, even because they have a very severe pains in the past water management. So they don't believe the suppliers. So how to cure their heart on the public works, the water management? So you need to show the how to cure of the local sociological group feelings on the irrigation management. Without that, water use association will not be active. So that's why my suggestion is that in your evaluation team, you should have the sociologists and you emphasize the government. Irrigation modernization evaluation should be very much focused on the farmer associations, water use association. What is their need? How to improve? Only just the technical ICT and the structured way is too expensive. The government, they cannot provide continuously. It's not sustainable. My suggestion is social aspect should be more concerned. And Dr. Jackie, you need to insist the government, we need to have a more agriculture and sociologist participation in evaluation. That's my suggestion.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Ryu. Please give applause to Prof. Ryu. Okay, Prof. The from my question is the last question, and
Hmm.
then before closing, I will summarize the session
Hmm.
that agriculture serves as a significant source of food production. The success of this crucial sector relies absolutely on water supplies, and then the scarcity of fresh water pose significant threats to food security and sustainable development in some part of the world. Other issue in irrigation system involve scarcity of water due to the effect of drought and climate change, environmental disturbance, and many all. Therefore, the efficient use and conservation of water for irrigation is needed to increase food production while equally preventing for water scarcity crisis. Consequently, a control system of watering the farm irrigation is highly practiced for crop cultivation as an alternative to a natural rainfall water sources for plants. The modernization irrigation system improves living condition in the rural world. This effort would be a recognition of the multifunctionality of agriculture. Proper technical management improves the environment since it effectively reduces the nutrient leaching from the irrigation area. Technology remain a key driver of productivity growth. Research and application of technology will occur both in agricultural production system. The modernization of irrigation system adds technology to agricultural production. Rural employment become more attractive and competitive. Going forward, Policymaker will also need to take into account new opportunities, emerging concern, and changing circumstances. For example, there is an opportunity for greater adoption and application of information technology and other new technologies in agriculture. That is the summary for the session, and I appreciate to Prof you to give the lecture. And next is giving the certificate, Prof, from us, from UGM. There are certificate. Please, the host. This is the certificate from Faculty of Agricultural Technology to Professor Dr. Ki Heriu as a speaker of the Smart Agro-Industry Summer Course, Adaptive Technology for Sustainable Agri-Industrial Sector in a Response to Climate Change. Thank you very much, Prof. Please give applause to Prof. Ryu. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Ryu. We are closing the session and see you next opportunity, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you so much for the Professor Yu and also our moderator, Mr. Zaki, PhD. So we also have a certificate of appreciations we would like to give to Mr. Zaki from our committee. The certificate will be given by our head of summer course, Bapak Agung. So for Pak Zaki and Pak Agung, please come to the stage. Yeah, one more round of applause for our sessions now. Yeah. So the second sessions is finished already, and we now have time to lunch break. I believe you have been sleepy or maybe hungry. We will have 1 hour break for